Our topic tonight is never force anyone to choose you. Now, you might be wondering, Neville, how does this relate to the law of assumption, to the power of imagination? I assure you, it is intricately connected to everything we have discussed before. You see, the very act of trying to force someone to choose you is a manifestation of a state of consciousness, a state of lack, of desperation, of disbelief in your own divine nature. Remember, my dear friends, that your consciousness is the only reality. The world outside is but a reflection of your inner state. When you find yourself in a position where you feel the need to force someone's choice, you are, in fact, dwelling in a state of consciousness that believes you are not enough, that you are not worthy of being chosen freely. But I say to you tonight, with all the conviction of my being, that you are already chosen. You have been chosen by the greatest power in the universe, the power that beats your heart, that flows through your veins, that animates your very existence. This power, which I call God, but you may call by any name that resonates with you, has already selected you as its vessel expression in this world. So why, then, would you lower yourself to the point of trying to force a mere mortal to choose you, when the creator of all that is has already done so? It is because you have forgotten your true nature. You have forgotten that you are not just a physical being having a spiritual experience, but a spiritual being having a physical experience. Let's delve deeper into this concept. When you try to force someone to choose you, you are operating from a state of external dependency. You are placing your sense of worth, your happiness, your very identity in the hands of another. But I tell you, this is not the way. Your worth, your happiness, your identity, these are not external to you. They're not something to be gained or lost based on the whims of another. They're intrinsic to your being, as much a part of you as your own breath. Imagine, if you will, a golden sun burning bright within your chest. This sun is your divine nature, your connection to the infinite power of the universe. It burns regardless of who chooses you or doesn't choose you. It burns regardless of your circumstances, your past, your future. It burns eternal and unchanging. This, my friends, is your true self. And it is from this self that all your power flows. Now let us consider for a moment what it means to choose. In our physical reality, we are constantly making choices. What to eat, what to wear, where to go, who to spend our time with. But on a deeper level, every choice we make is a choice of state. We are choosing which version of ourselves to embody, which reality to step into. When you try to force someone to choose you, you are, in essence, choosing a state of lack for yourself. You are saying to the universe, I am not enough as I am. I need this person's validation to be complete. But I say to you, my dear friends, you are already complete. You are already whole. You are already perfect, for you are a perfect expression of the divine. Instead of trying to force someone to choose you, why not choose yourself? Why not step into the state of being the person who is naturally chosen, not out of coercion or manipulation, but out of genuine desire and appreciation? This is the power you hold within you. The power to choose your state of being, and in doing so, to choose your reality. Let me share with you a technique that I have found powerful in this regard. Close your eyes for a moment and imagine yourself as the person you want to be. See yourself radiating confidence, love, and inner peace. See yourself surrounded by people who appreciate you for who you are, who choose to be in your presence, not because you have forced them, but because they genuinely want to be there. Feel the feeling of being this person. Feel the confidence coursing through your veins. Feel the love expanding in your heart. Feel the peace settling into your bones. This feeling, my friends, is your true state of being. It's who you really are beneath all the layers of doubt and fear that you have accumulated over the years. Now open your eyes. The world you see around you might not have changed, but you have changed. You have shifted your state of consciousness. And in doing so, you have set in motion a chain of events that will bring your outer reality into alignment with your inner state. This is the true power of never forcing anyone to choose you. It's not about becoming more attractive to others or learning manipulation techniques. It's about remembering your true nature, stepping into your power, and allowing the right people and circumstances to naturally gravitate towards you. Consider for a moment the natural world around us. Does a flower force the bee to choose it? Does it beg and plead for pollination? No. It simply blooms in all its glory, secure in the knowledge that its nectar will attract the right bees at the right time. You, my dear friends, are that flower. Your very being, when aligned with your true divine nature, is more than enough to attract all that is meant for you. But perhaps you're thinking, Neville, this all sounds well and good. But what about when I really want a specific person to choose me? What about when I've set my heart on a particular relationship or opportunity? Your desire is not for the person or the opportunity itself, but for the feeling you believe it will bring you. You see, we never want things or people for themselves. We want them for the state of consciousness we believe they will allow us to inhabit. If you desire a romantic partner, it's because you believe this partner will allow you to feel loved, secure. If you desire a particular job, it's because you believe this job will allow you to feel successful, fulfilled, purposeful. You don't need the external thing to embody the state. You can step into that state right now, in this very moment. You can feel loved, secure, and appreciated right now. You can feel successful, fulfilled, and purposeful right now. And when you do, when you truly embody these states, you will find that the outer world rearranges itself to match your inner reality. This is the essence of what I teach, that your imagination creates reality. When you try to force someone to choose you, you are imagining a reality where you are not enough as you are. You are imagining a reality where your worth is dependent on another's validation. But when you step into the state of being confidently and securely yourself, you are imagining a reality where you are more than enough, where your worth is intrinsic and unshakable. When you no longer need someone to choose you, when you no longer try to force it, you become magnetic. You become irresistible. Not in a superficial sense, but in a deep soul level sense. People are drawn to those who are secure in themselves, who radiate self-love and inner peace. By no longer needing to be chosen, you become the natural choice. Let's delve deeper into this concept of being the natural choice. When you are aligned with your true self, when you are dwelling in the state of your divine nature, you exude a certain energy. This energy is palpable to those around you, even if they can't quite put their finger on what it is. It's an energy of authenticity, of self-assuredness, of inner peace. This energy is far more attractive than any forced attempt to make someone choose you. Think about it. Have you ever been around someone who's trying too hard to impress you, to make you like them? How did it feel? Probably a bit uncomfortable, maybe even off-putting. Now think about someone you've met who was simply comfortable in their own skin, who wasn't trying to be anything other than who they are. How did that feel? Refreshing, wasn't it? Magnetic even? That, my dear friends, is the power of never forcing anyone to choose you. It's about being so secure in who you are, so aligned with your true self, that you naturally draw the right people and opportunities to you. It's about trusting in the divine timing of the universe, knowing that what is meant for you will not pass you by. No, I can hear some of you thinking, but Neville, what if I've been trying to force someone to choose me for a long time? What if I've been in this state of lack and desperation for years? How do I change? The power to change is always available to you in this very moment. Your past does not define you. Your habits do not control you. You are the operant power in your life, and you can choose a new state of consciousness at any time. The key is to start with your imagination. Remember, your imagination is the God force within you. It is the creative power through which you shape your reality. So instead of imagining scenarios where you have to force someone to choose you, start imagining scenarios where you are confidently and securely yourself, where the right people and opportunities naturally gravitate towards you. See yourself walking through life with an inner sense of peace and assurance, See yourself interacting with others from a place of genuine self-love and respect. See yourself being chosen, not because you forced it, but because it's the natural result of who you are. Feeling of being this person, embodied with every fiber of your being, is the crucial part. You must persist in this new state of consciousness. It's not enough to imagine it once and then go back to your old patterns of thinking and behaving. You must live from this new state consistently, even when the outer world hasn't yet caught up to your inner changes. You must continue to dwell in this new state. This, my friends, is what I mean when I speak of living in the end. You are living as if your desire is already fulfilled. You are embodying the state of consciousness of the person who no longer needs to force anyone to choose them, because they know their own worth. They trust in divine timing, and they are secure in the knowledge that what is meant for them will come to them naturally. Now let's address a common misconception. Some of you might be thinking, but Neville, if I stop trying to make people choose me, if I stop putting in effort, won't I end up alone? Won't I miss out on opportunities? This, my dear friends, is the voice of fear. It's the voice of the old state of consciousness that believes you have to force things to happen. But I tell you this, true action comes from a place of inspired alignment, not desperate force. When you're dwelling in the state of your divine nature, you will be inspired to take actions that align with that state. You will naturally behave in ways that draw the right people and opportunities to you. But these actions will feel easy, joyful, natural, not forced or desperate. Consider the difference between these two scenarios. In the first, you're constantly texting someone, trying to get their attention, manipulating situations to be around them, changing yourself to fit what you think they want. In the second, you're focused on your own growth and happiness, pursuing your passions, living your best life, and in the process naturally drawing people who resonate with your energy. Which scenario do you think is more likely to lead to genuine, fulfilling connections? Which is more likely to attract the right opportunities? The latter, of course, because it comes from a place of authenticity, of alignment with your true self. This brings us to another important point: the power of self-love. When you truly love and accept yourself, you no longer need to force anyone to choose you. You have already chosen yourself, and that is the most important choice of all. Self-love is not narcissism or selfishness. It's a deep appreciation for your own divine nature, a recognition of your intrinsic worth. Cultivating self-love is a practice, my friends. It involves treating yourself with kindness and compassion. It involves honoring your needs and boundaries. It involves celebrating your unique gifts and accepting your humanness, including your flaws and imperfections. When you love yourself in this way, you create a solid foundation from which all your relationships and endeavors can flourish. Now, let's talk about divine timing. Often when we're trying to force someone to choose us, we're operating on our own timeline. We want it to happen now on our terms. But the universe operates on its own divine timing, which is often different from our human perception of time. Trust in this divine timing. Know that everything is unfolding exactly as it should. Your job is not to force the timing, but to use this time to align yourself more fully with your true nature. Use this time to grow, to learn, to become more of who you truly are. But when the right time comes, and it will come, you will be ready. You will be the best version of yourself, naturally attracting what is meant for you. Remember, my dear friends, that the external world is a reflection of your inner state. If you find yourself constantly in situations where you feel the need to force people to choose you, it's a sign that there's inner work to be done. It's an invitation to look within, to examine your beliefs about yourself and your worth. Are you harboring beliefs of unworthiness, of not being good enough? These beliefs, though they may feel true, are not your true nature. They are learned patterns, often picked up in childhood or through difficult experiences. But just as you learn them, you can unlearn them. You can replace them with the truth of your divine nature, with the knowing of your intrinsic worth. This is where the power of revision comes in. You can go back in your imagination and revise those experiences that led to these limiting beliefs. See them playing out differently. See yourself being valued, appreciated, chosen naturally. Feel the feeling of knowing your worth, of being secure in who you are. This is not mere fantasy. This is you aligning with your true nature, with the reality of who you really are. As you do this inner work, as you align more and more with your true divine nature, you'll find that your outer world begins to shift. The people and opportunities that come into your life will be more aligned with this new state of consciousness. You'll find yourself naturally attracting those who appreciate you for who you truly are, who choose you not out of obligation or manipulation, but out of genuine desire and resonance. This, my dear friends, is the power of never forcing anyone to choose you. It's about choosing yourself first, about aligning with your true nature, about trusting in the divine unfolding of your life. It's about becoming so secure in who you are that you no longer need external validation. As we near the end of our time together, I want to leave you with this thought. You are already chosen. You are chosen by the divine power that breathed life into you, that continues to sustain you in every moment. You are a unique expression of this divine power with gifts and qualities that your task is not to force anyone to see this, but to see it yourself. To embody it so fully that it radiates from every pore of your being. When you do this, you will find that you no longer need to force anyone to choose you. The right people, the right opportunities, the right circumstances will be drawn to you naturally, like moths to a flame. So go forth from here tonight with this new understanding. Release the need to force, to manipulate, to desperately seek validation from others. Instead, turn within. Connect with your divine nature. Choose yourself, love yourself, trust in the perfect unfolding of your life. And watch as your world transforms around you, reflecting back to you the truth of who you really are. Remember, my friends, the kingdom of heaven is within you. All that you seek, love, acceptance, validation, already exists within you. As you align with this truth, as you live from this state of consciousness, you will find that your outer world rearranges itself to match your inner reality. You will become a living embodiment of the principle that it is never necessary to force anyone to choose you, for you have chosen yourself, and that is the most powerful choice of all. And so, my dear friends, I leave you with this final thought. You are divine love expressing itself in human form. You are worthy beyond measure. You are enough exactly as you are. Trust in this truth, live from this knowing, and watch as your life unfolds in beautiful and unexpected ways. For when you no longer need to force anyone to choose you, you become free to be your true self. And in that freedom, you will find all that you have ever sought. Thank you for your attention, for your willingness to explore these profound truths. Go forth and apply what you have learned. Remember, your imagination creates reality. Imagine yourself as the person who no longer needs to force anyone to choose them. Feel it, believe it, live it. And so it will be. My dear friends, tonight we shall explore a profound truth that has the power to transform your entire existence. Our focus, our contemplation shall be on the art of focusing on what you are doing. This seemingly simple concept holds within it the very key to manifesting your desires and shaping your reality. Let us begin by understanding that your consciousness, your awareness, is the only reality. Everything you perceive in your world is but an outward expression of your inner state. When you truly focus on what you are doing, you are directing the full power of your consciousness. And in doing so, you are quite literally shaping the world around you. Consider for a moment the act of focusing. What does it mean to focus? It is to bring your attention, your awareness to a single point. It is to exclude all else and immerse yourself fully in the present moment, in the task at hand. This act of focusing is nothing less than the act of creation itself. You see, my dear friends, your attention is the most precious gift you possess. It is the very substance of creation. Where you place your attention, there flows the energy of life itself. And when you focus that attention, when you direct it with purpose and intention, You are engaging in the highest form of creative power. Now, let us delve deeper into this concept. When you focus on what you're doing, you are entering into a state of being. You are not merely performing an action. You are becoming one with that action. This is the secret that the great masters and sages have known throughout the ages. It is not what you do that matters, but the state of being from which you do it. Imagine, if you will, two individuals performing the same task. One goes through the motions mechanically, their mind wandering to 1,000 other concerns. The other focuses entirely on the task, pouring their whole being into each moment. Which do you think will produce the superior result? Which do you think will experience the greater transformation? The answer, of course, is clear. The one who focuses, who brings their full awareness to the present moment, is the one who taps into the infinite creative power of the universe. For in that moment of complete focus, they are aligning themselves with the very source of all creation. But let us not mistake this focus for a form of striving or struggle. True focus, the kind we speak of tonight, is effortless. It is a letting go of all else, a surrender to the present moment. It's just allowing yourself to be fully immersed in what you're doing, without resistance, without distraction. This, my friends, is the state of mind from which miracles are born. For when you focus in this way, you are entering into the silence, into the void from which all things emerge. You are touching the very fabric of reality itself. Now, some of you may be thinking, but Neville, how can I maintain such focus in a world full of distractions? And to this I say, practice. Like any skill, the ability to focus deepens with consistent application. Begin with small moments throughout your day. When you eat, focus entirely on the act of eating. When you walk, be aware of each step. When you speak with another, give them your complete attention. As you practice this, you will begin to notice a shift. The world around you will seem to slow down. Colors will appear more vivid, sensations more intense. This is because you are becoming more fully alive, more present in each moment. You are awakening to the reality of your own creative power. But there is more, my friends. For as you cultivate this ability to focus, you will find that it extends beyond the mundane task of daily life. You will discover that you can apply this same principle to the act of imagining, to the art of manifesting your desires. When you focus your attention on a desired state, when you immerse yourself fully in the feeling of it being real, you are planting a seed in the fertile soil of your subconscious mind. And just as surely as a seed grows into a plant when nurtured, so too will your imagined state blossom into physical reality when tended with focused attention. This is the true power of focus. It is not merely about improving your productivity or enhancing your skills. It is about consciously directing the creative force of the universe. It is about becoming an active participant in the shaping of your reality. Consider the great artists, the inventors, the visionaries who have changed the course of history. What set them apart was not merely talent or intelligence, but their ability to focus with unwavering intensity on their vision. They saw in their mind's eye what did not yet exist in the physical world, and through their focused attention, they brought it into being. You, my dear friends, possess this same power. The only difference is that you may not have fully recognized or exercised it yet. But tonight I urge you to begin. Start with the simple act of focusing on what you're doing and watch as your world transforms around you. Now, let us explore another aspect of this principle. When you focus on what you're doing, you are also practicing the art of presence. You are fully inhabiting the here and now, rather than allowing your mind to drift to the past or future. This presence is the key to accessing your true power. For it is only in the present moment that creation occurs. The past is but a memory, the future a projection. Neither has any reality except in your imagination. The only point of power is the present moment. When you focus on what you are doing, you are anchoring yourself in this point of power. You are aligning yourself with the eternal now, the timeless realm from which all possibilities emerge. This alignment with the present moment has profound implications. For one, it frees you from the bondage of past regrets and future anxieties. When you're fully focused on what you're doing, there's no room for worry or fear. You are too absorbed in the present to be concerned with what was or what might be. Moreover, this presence allows you to tap into your intuition, your inner guidance. When your mind is quiet, focused on the task at hand, you become receptive to the subtle promptings of your higher self. You may find solutions appearing spontaneously, insights arising unbidden. This is because you have created space for wisdom to enter. But there is an even deeper truth here, my friends. When you focus on what you are doing, you are practicing the art of conscious creation. You are actively participating in the unfoldment of your reality. You see, every action, every thought, every moment of focused attention is an act of creation. The universe responds to your focus. It reflects back to you the state of consciousness you embody. When you are scattered, distracted, your world appears chaotic and confusing. But when you are focused present, your world takes on a clarity and purpose that may seem miraculous. This is not magic, but law. It is the law of consciousness, the fundamental principle underlying all of creation. As within, so without. Your outer world is always a reflection of your inner state. By focusing on what you are doing, you are creating a state of clarity and purpose within, which must, by law, be reflected in your outer circumstances. Now let's consider how this principle can be applied to the art of manifestation. When you desire to bring something into your life, whether it be a new job, a relationship, or a state of being, the key is to focus on the end result as if it were already accomplished. This is where many stumble. They focus on the process, on the how, rather than on the completed state. But I say to you, focus on the end. Feel it as real. Immerse yourself in the state of having already achieved your desire. Do this with the same intensity, the same presence, as when you focus on a physical task. For you see, to your subconscious mind, there is no difference between an imagined event and a physical one. When you focus on your desired state with full attention, feeling it as real, your subconscious accepts it as fact. And once accepted, it must find a way to bring it into physical manifestation. This is the true art of focusing on what you're doing. It is not limited to physical actions, but extends to the realm of imagination. Your imaginal acts, when infused with focused attention in feeling, become the blueprint from which your physical reality is constructed. But remember, this is not about forcing or striving. It is about allowing. When you focus in this way, you are opening yourself to the infinite possibilities of the universe. You are aligning yourself with the creative power that underlies all of existence. Now, some of you may be wondering, but Neville, what about the challenges and obstacles in my life? How can I focus on what I'm doing when faced with difficulties? And to this I sigh. Those very challenges are opportunities for the most powerful focus of all. When you encounter an obstacle, instead of resisting it or trying to push it away, bring your full attention to it. Focus on it not as a problem to be solved, but as an opportunity for growth and transformation. For you see, every challenge contains within it the seed of an equivalent or greater benefit. By focusing your attention on the challenge, by fully inhabiting the present moment, even when it seems difficult, you open yourself to insights and solutions that were previously hidden from view. You tap into a wisdom that goes beyond your conscious mind. Moreover, by maintaining your focus in the face of adversity, you are demonstrating faith in the ultimate goodness of the universe. You are affirming that all things work together for your good, even when appearances suggest otherwise. This faith, this unwavering focus, is the power that moves mountains. Consider the great spiritual teachers throughout history. In their moments of greatest trial, they maintained an unshakable focus on their inner truth. They refused to be swayed by outer appearances. And in doing so, they demonstrated the transformative power of focus. You, my dear friends, have the same power within you. When you focus on what you're doing, even in the midst of challenges, you are claiming your divine heritage as a creator. You are affirming your oneness with the source of all being. Now let us delve even deeper into this principle. When you focus on what you are doing, you are also practicing the art of detachment. This may seem paradoxical, but it is profoundly true. For true focus is not about clinging or grasping, but about allowing yourself to be fully present without resistance. When you are truly focused, there's no room for anxiety about the outcome. There's no space for doubt or fear. You are too absorbed in the present moment to worry about what might happen. This state of detached focus is incredibly powerful, for it allows you to act from a place of clarity and inner peace. Moreover, this detachment allows you to remain flexible and open to possibilities. When you are rigidly attached to a particular outcome, you may miss opportunities that don't fit your preconceived notions. But when you focus with detachment, you remain open to the infinite wisdom of the universe. This is not to say that you should abandon your goals or desires. Far from it. But rather than focusing on the specific form your desire should take, focus on the essence of what you want to experience. Focus on the feeling, the state of being, rather than the outer details. For example, if you desire financial abundance, don't focus on a specific sum of money. Instead, focus on the feeling of security, of freedom, of generosity that abundance would bring. Immerse yourself in that state. Focus on it with all your attention, and allow the universe to bring it into manifestation in ways that may surprise and delight you. This principle extends to all areas of life. In relationships, focus on the feeling of love, of connection, rather than on finding a specific person. In your career, focus on the feeling of fulfillment, of contribution, rather than on a particular job title. By focusing on the essence, you open yourself to possibilities beyond your current imagination. Now let us consider another aspect of focusing on what you are doing: the power of consistency. It is not enough to focus intensely for a moment and then return to a scattered state. True mastery comes from maintaining your focus consistently, day after day. This does not mean that you must maintain intense concentration every moment of your life. That would be exhausting and counterproductive. Rather, it means cultivating a general state of presence, of awareness that underlies all your activities. Think of it as a background hum of consciousness, a constant low-level focus that keeps you anchored in the present moment. From this state of general awareness, you can then bring more intense focus to specific tasks or imaginal acts as needed. This consistent focus, this ongoing state of presence, is what allows for true transformation. It is like the steady drip of water that, over time, can wear away even the hardest stone. Your consistent focus, maintained day after day, has the power to reshape your entire reality. But remember, my friends, this is not about perfection. There will be times when your focus wavers, when you find yourself distracted or overwhelmed. This is natural and to be expected. The key is not to judge yourself or become discouraged, but simply to notice when you become distracted and gently bring your attention back to the present moment. This act of returning to focus, of coming back to presence, is itself a powerful practice. Each time you do this, you are strengthening your ability to direct your consciousness. You are reclaiming your power as a creator. Now, let's explore how this principle of focus relates to the concept of time. In your everyday experience, time seems to flow in a linear fashion, from past to future. But from the perspective of your higher self, all time is simultaneous. Past, present, and future exist as one eternal now. When you focus on what you're doing, when you become fully present in the moment, you are aligning yourself with this higher perspective. You are stepping out of the illusion of linear time and into the reality of the eternal now. This has profound implications for the art of manifestation. When you focus on your desire as if it were already fulfilled, you are not projecting it into some distant future. You are claiming it now in this eternal present moment. You are aligning yourself with a version of you that has already achieved that desire. From this perspective, manifestation is not about making something happen in the future. It is about aligning yourself with a reality that already exists in the eternal now. Your focused attention, your complete absorption in the feeling of your desire fulfilled, is what allows you to shift your consciousness to that reality. This is why it is so important to focus on the end result, to live from the state of wish fulfilled. By doing so, you are not trying to change the future. You're changing your present state of consciousness, which is the only thing that truly exists. Now let us consider how this principle of focus relates to your relationships with others. When you focus on what you are doing, when you are fully present in your interactions, you create a space for genuine connection and understanding. Think about the last time you had a conversation where you felt truly heard and seen. Chances are the person you were speaking with was giving you their full attention, focusing entirely on the present moment. This kind of focused presence has the power to transform relationships. When you focus on what you're doing in your interactions with others, you are honoring them with your full attention. You are creating a space of respect and understanding. This not only enhances your relationships, but also allows for deeper insights and more meaningful exchanges. Moreover, by focusing on what you are doing in your interactions, you become more attuned to the subtle cues and energies of those around you. You may find that you develop an almost uncanny ability to understand others, to sense their needs and desires even before they express. This focused attention in your relationships extends to your relationship with the world at large. When you move through your day with presence and awareness, you may find that the world seems to respond to you in new and surprising ways. Opportunities may appear as if by magic. Synchronicities may become more frequent. This is because your focused attention, your state of presence, is aligning you with the flow of life itself. You are no longer swimming against the current, but moving in harmony with the universe. Now let us delve into the relationship between focus and your physical health. When you focus on what you're doing, you become more attuned to the signals of your body. You may notice tensions you were previously unaware of, or become more conscious of your breathing and posture. This increased body awareness can have profound effects on your health and well-being. By focusing on your body as you move through your day, you may naturally start to make choices that support your health. You may find yourself drawn to more nourishing foods or inspired to engage in physical activities that energize and revitalize you. Moreover, when you bring focused attention to your body, you are directing life energy to it. This focused energy can have a powerful healing effect. Many studies have shown the benefits of mindfulness and focused attention on various aspects of physical health. But beyond these physical effects, focusing on what you're doing also reduces stress and anxiety, which are major contributors to many health issues. When you are fully present, fully focused on the task at hand, there is no room for worry about the future or regret about the past. This state of presence is deeply restful and rejuvenating for both body and mind. Now let us consider how this principle of focus relates to your spiritual growth. When you focus on what you're doing, you are practicing a form of meditation in action. You are cultivating a state of mindfulness that extends beyond formal meditation sessions and into your everyday life. This ongoing state of presence, this consistent focus, opens you up to higher levels of consciousness. You may find that you become more intuitive, more attuned to the subtle promptings of your higher self. You may experience moments of profound insight or clarity that seem to arise from nowhere. Moreover, by focusing on what you are doing, you are practicing the art of surrender. You are letting go of your ego's need to control and allowing yourself to be guided by a higher wisdom. This surrender, paradoxically, is the key to true power and freedom. As you continue to practice this focused presence, you may find that your sense of self begins to shift. The boundaries between you and the world may start to blur. You may experience moments of unity consciousness, where you feel deeply connected to all of life. This is the ultimate fruit of focusing on what you're doing. It is not just about improving your productivity or manifesting your desires, but about awakening to your true nature as a conscious creator, one with the infinite source of all being. As we draw this discourse to a close, I urge you, my dear friends, to take this principle of focusing on what you're doing and apply it in your daily life. Start small if you must, but start today. Bring your full attention to each task, each interaction, each moment. Feel the power that comes from this focused presence. Experience the clarity, the peace, the sense of purpose that arises when you are fully engaged in the present moment. Remember, this practice is not about perfection. There will be times when your mind wanders, when you lose your focus. This is natural and to be expected. The key is to gently, lovingly bring your attention back to the present moment whenever you notice that you become distracted. Each time you do this, you are strengthening your ability to direct your consciousness, to shape your reality. And finally, my friends, know this. As you cultivate this ability to focus, as you deepen your presence and awareness, you are fulfilling your highest purpose. You are claiming your divine heritage as a conscious creator. You are aligning yourself with the very source of all creation. In focusing on what you're doing, you are doing nothing less than awakening to the truth of who you really are. And in this awakening lies the key to all the joy, all the abundance, all the love that you could ever desire. Go for it. Focus on what you're doing and watch as miracles unfold in your life. Ladies and gentlemen, I stand before you today to speak on a topic of utmost importance, a truth that lies at the very heart of your existence. Learn to depend on yourself. Now, when I say this, I do not mean it in the conventional sense that the world often teaches. No, I speak of a deeper, more profound truth. The truth that you are God, expressing himself in human form. You see, my dear friends, the greatest secret in this world is that you are not separate from God. You are not some lowly creature begging for scraps from a distant deity. You are that very power, that very consciousness, localized and individualized in the form you now wear. To learn to depend on yourself is to awaken to this grand truth, to realize that the power you seek is not external to you, but is the very essence of your being. Now you might ask, Neville, if I am God, why do I experience limitations? Why do I face challenges and setbacks? And to this I say, it is because you have forgotten who you truly are. You have accepted the illusion of separation, the belief that you are a mere mortal subject to the whims of an external world. But I tell you with absolute certainty that this is not the case. The world you see around you, with all its seeming solidity, is nothing more than the outpicturing of your consciousness. It is your own wonderful human imagination made visible. Every circumstance, every person, every event in your life is but a reflection of your own mental states, your own beliefs and assumptions. When you truly understand this, when you internalize this truth, you will begin to see the immense power that lies dormant within you. To depend on yourself, in the truest sense, is to depend on your imagination. For your imagination is God in action within you. It is the creative power of the universe, localized in your very being. When you imagine, you are literally shaping reality. You are engaging in the divine act of creation. This is why I've always emphasized the importance of controlling your mental diet, of watching your thoughts and imaginings with the utmost care. Every time you say, I am, you are making a declaration of your true nature. You are invoking the name of God. For is it not written in Exodus, I am that I am? This is the name God gave to Moses, and it is your true name as well. So when you say, I am poor, I am sick, I am unlucky, you are creating those very conditions in your life. But equally, when you dare to declare, I am wealthy, I am healthy, I am blessed, you are setting in motion the forces that will make these statements true in your visible world. This, my friends, is the true meaning of faith. It is not blind belief in an external power. It is the absolute conviction in the reality of desires, even when your senses deny it. It is the ability to live from the end, to assume the feeling of your wish fulfilled, regardless of appearances. This is what it means to truly depend on yourself, to trust in the power of your own wonderful human imagination. Now, some of you might be thinking, but Neville, I have tried to imagine better circumstances, and nothing has changed. To this, I say, persistence is key. Remember, you're dealing with thought habits that have been ingrained over years, perhaps lifetimes. You cannot expect to undo these patterns overnight. But I promise you, with consistent effort, with unwavering faith, you will see results. Consider the biblical story of the fig tree. Jesus, representing the human imagination, cursed the fig tree and it withered away. But note, it did not happen instantly. It took time for the effects to become visible. So too with your imaginings. Plant the seed in your consciousness, water it with the feeling of naturalness, and in due time, it will bear fruit in your visible world. Let me share with you a technique that I have found particularly powerful in this work of self-reliance. I call it the congratulatory technique. As you retire for the night, imagine that you are meeting a friend or a loved one. In your imagination, hear them congratulating you on your good fortune. Feel the joy, the satisfaction, the relief of having your desire fulfilled. Make it as vivid and as real as you possibly can. Then, carry this feeling with you as you drift off to sleep. You see, sleep is a doorway to the subconscious mind. When you enter sleep in the consciousness of your wish fulfilled, you are impressing that reality upon your subconscious. And your subconscious, being the faithful servant that it is, will work tirelessly to bring about the conditions that match your inner assumption. This is how you put your faith into action. This is how you depend on yourself in the truest sense. Now, I want to address a common misconception. Some people believe that this teaching encourages passivity, that if we can create reality through imagination, there's no need for action. Nothing could be further from the truth. Action is crucial, but it must be the right kind of action. Inspired action that flows naturally from your new state of consciousness. When you truly live from the end, when you fully embody the state of your wish fulfilled, you will find yourself naturally taking the steps that lead to its manifestation. You won't have to force it or struggle. The right opportunities, the right people, the right circumstances will seem to appear as if by magic. But it's not magic. It's law. It's the law of your own being responding to the seed you have planted in your consciousness. Consider the example of a tree. The tree doesn't strain or struggle to produce fruit. It simply is, and in being what it is. Fruit appears as a natural consequence. So too with you. When you fully embody the state of being the person who has what you desire, the fruits of that state will appear in your life, just as naturally and effortlessly. This is why I often say, assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled. Feeling is the secret. It's not enough to merely visualize or affirm your desire. You must feel it. You must experience it as a present reality in your imagination. For your feelings are the language of your subconscious. And it is your subconscious that holds the power to reshape your world. Let's delve deeper into this concept of feeling. When I speak of feeling, I don't mean mere emotion. I'm referring to the feeling of naturalness, the feeling of already being or having what you desire. It's a subtle but crucial distinction. Emotion can be fleeting, but the feeling I speak of is a deep, abiding sense of being. For instance, if your desire is financial abundance, don't just imagine having money. Instead, imagine how you would feel if financial concerns were a thing of the past. Feel the peace, the security, the freedom that comes with true abundance. Make this feeling so real, so vivid in your imagination that if you were to open your eyes, you would be surprised to find that your outer world hasn't yet caught up with your inner experience. This is the art of living from the end. It's a complete shift in consciousness. Instead of looking at your current circumstances and trying to figure out how to change them, you start from the assumption that what you desire is already yours. You live, move, and have your being in that state. This is what it truly means to depend on yourself, to trust in the power of your own consciousness to shape your reality. Now, some of you might be wondering, but Neville, what about other people? Don't they have a say in my reality? And to this I say, there's no one else. The people in your world are yourself pushed out. They are reflections of your own consciousness, playing the parts that you have assigned to them through your beliefs and assumptions. This might seem like a radical idea, but consider, have you ever noticed how people tend to treat you according to how you expect to be treated? Have you ever seen how your relationships transform when you change your beliefs about yourself? This is because everyone in your world is you pushed out. They are playing the roles that your consciousness has cast them in. Understanding this truth is liberating. It means that you don't have to change others or wait for them to change. You only need to change yourself, to revise your concept of self, and the world, including the people in it, will rearrange itself to match your new self-concept. This is the true meaning of self-reliance. It's not about being independent of others in the conventional sense, but about recognizing that others are not separate from you. They are aspects of your own consciousness made visible. Let me give you a practical example of how this works. Suppose you have a difficult relationship with a coworker. Instead of trying to change their behavior directly, change your concept of them in your imagination. See them as friendly, cooperative, and pleasant to work with. Feel the relief and satisfaction of having a harmonious working relationship. Do this consistently, especially as you fall asleep at night, and you will be amazed at how their behavior towards you begins to change. Remember, you are not manipulating them. You are simply aligning yourself with a different version of reality, one in which this person plays a different role. As you do this, you will find that either their behavior will change to match your new assumption, or circumstances will rearrange themselves so that your interaction with them naturally becomes more harmonious. This principle applies to every aspect of your life: your health, your wealth, your relationships, your career. All of these are reflections of your consciousness. To change them, you must first change your consciousness. This is why depending on yourself is so crucial. Because when you truly depend on yourself, on your own wonderful human imagination, you are depending on the only real creative power in the universe. Now, I want to address a question that often arises when I speak of these truths. People ask Neville, if I am God and I create my reality, why would I create negative experiences for myself? This is a profound question. And the answer lies in understanding the nature of consciousness and the purpose of your earthly existence. You see, you are here to experience and express all aspects of being. Just as an actor plays many roles over the course of their career, you too play many roles in the grand drama of life. Sometimes you play the part of the victim, sometimes the victor. Sometimes you experience lack, sometimes abundance. But through it all, you are the actor, not the role. The key is to awaken to your true identity as the actor, as the God power expressing itself through these various states. Once you awaken to this truth, you can consciously choose which states to occupy. You can write your own script, so to speak, instead of unconsciously acting out patterns from your past. This awakening is what the scriptures refer to as the resurrection. It's not a physical event that happens after death, but a spiritual awakening that can happen here and now. It's the lifting of the veil of illusion, the recognition of your true divine nature. And once this awakening occurs, you naturally begin to create more positive experiences for yourself because you understand that you are the creator. But remember, this awakening is a process. It doesn't happen overnight. It requires patience, persistence, and above all, practice. You must practice living from the state of your wish fulfilled. You must practice seeing the world through the eyes of the person you wish to be. You must practice depending on your imagination rather than your senses. This practice is what I call the art of revision. At the end of each day, before you sleep, review the events of your day. If there were any experiences that were less than desirable, revise them in your imagination. See them playing out the way you would have preferred. Feel the satisfaction, the relief, the joy of the revised experience. This is not mere fantasy or escapism. This is you, as God, consciously reshaping your world. As you practice revision consistently, you will begin to see changes in your outer world. Things that used to trigger negative reactions in you will lose their power. People who used to irritate you will become more pleasant or will simply fade from your experience. Opportunities that seemed out of reach will begin to present themselves. This is because you are literally rewriting your past and in doing so, altering your future. Now, some of you might be thinking, but Neville, isn't this just self-delusion? Aren't we supposed to face reality as it is? To this I say, what you call reality is itself a form of self-delusion. It's a collective dream that we're all participating in. The only difference is that most people are dreaming unconsciously, reacting to the dream rather than actively shaping it. What I'm teaching you is how to become a conscious dreamer, how to take control of the dream and shape it according to your desires. This is not delusion. This is awakening to your true power as a creative being. This is learning to depend on yourself in the deepest, most profound sense. Consider the world of quantum physics. Scientists have discovered that the act of observation affects the behavior of subatomic particles. In other words, consciousness itself plays a role in shaping physical reality. Is this so different from what I'm teaching you? You are not separate from the world you observe. You are an integral part of it, and your consciousness plays a crucial role in shaping it. This understanding brings with it a great responsibility. If you are the creator of your reality, then you are responsible for your creations. This is why it's so important to watch your mental diet, to be mindful of your thoughts and feelings. Every thought, every feeling is a seed that will bear fruit in your experience. But don't let this responsibility weigh you down. Instead, let it empower you. Recognize that if you have the power to create negative experiences through your unconscious assumptions, you also have the power to create positive experiences through your conscious choices. This is the essence of true self-reliance. Let me share with you another technique that can help you in this practice of self-reliance. I call it living in the end. Choose a short scene that would imply the fulfillment of your desire. For instance, if your desire is for a successful career, imagine a scene where you're receiving congratulations from your colleagues on your latest achievement. Make this scene as vivid and as real as possible in your imagination. Here's the key. Enter into this scene as if it were happening right now. Don't see it as something in the future, but as a present reality. Feel the handshakes, hear the words of congratulation, experience the pride and satisfaction of your achievement. Do this for a few minutes each day, especially as you're falling asleep at night. And as you're waking up in the morning, what you're doing with this exercise is training your subconscious mind to accept this new reality. Remember, your subconscious doesn't distinguish between what's vividly imagined and what's actually experienced. By repeatedly entering into this scene, you're creating a new memory, a new experience for your subconscious to draw upon. As you persist in this practice, you'll begin to notice changes in your outer world. Opportunities will present themselves. You'll find yourself naturally taking actions that lead towards your goal. People will respond to you differently. This is because you have changed the underlying assumption, the root from which your experiences grow. Now, I want to address a common concern that arises when people begin to practice these principles. They worry that by focusing on their own desires, they might be acting selfishly or potentially harming others. But I want you to understand something crucial. There is no separation. What blesses one, blesses all. When you elevate your own consciousness, when you align yourself with the states of joy, abundance, and love, you are contributing to the elevation of the entire human consciousness. Your individual awakening is part of a larger awakening. By learning to depend on yourself, on your own divine nature, you are helping to lift the consciousness of all humanity. Moreover, as you begin to experience the fulfillment of your desires, you'll find that your desires themselves begin to change. They become less about personal gain and more about expressing your divine nature, about contributing to the world in meaningful ways. This is the natural evolution of consciousness. As you awaken to your true self, your desires align more and more with the highest good for all. Let's delve deeper into this concept of the evolution of desire. When you first begin this practice of conscious creation, your desires might be primarily focused on personal gain. More money, a better job, improved relationships, and there's nothing wrong with this. These desires serve as a starting point, a way to prove to yourself the power of your own consciousness. But as you continue to practice, as you begin to experience the fulfillment of these desires, something remarkable happens. You start to realize that the joy you seek isn't in the things themselves, but in the state of consciousness that allows you to create them. You begin to understand that you are not your possessions, your achievements, or even your relationships. You are the awareness, the consciousness that gives rise to all these things. This realization marks a profound shift. Your desires begin to take on a different quality. Instead of asking, what can I get? You start asking, what can I give? Instead of seeking to accumulate, you seek to express. Your focus shifts from having to be. This is the true meaning of abundance. It's not about having more things, but about recognizing that you are the source of all things. When you truly internalize this, you naturally move into a state of giving, of expressing, of creating, not from a place of lack or need, but from a place of overflowing fullness. Here's the beautiful paradox. When you reach this state, when you no longer seek things for personal gain, but simply as a means of expression, you find that everything you could ever want comes to you effortlessly, because you are no longer separate from your desires. You are one with them, expressing them as naturally as a flower expresses its fragrance. This state of being is what the mystics have called enlightenment, what the scriptures refer to as the kingdom of heaven. And make no mistake, this state is available to you here and now. It's not something to be achieved in some distant future or after death. It's your natural state, your birthright. You only need to awaken to it. So how do you awaken to this state? By practicing what I've been teaching you. By learning to depend on yourself, on your own wonderful human imagination. By consistently living from the end, assuming the feeling of your wish fulfilled. By revising your day, rewriting your past. By watching your mental diet, carefully selecting the thoughts and feelings you entertain. These practices are not mere techniques for getting things. They are a path to awakening, a way of remembering who you truly are. As you continue on this path, you'll find that your entire perception of the world begins to change. What once seemed solid and fixed becomes fluid and responsive to your consciousness. The barriers between you and your desires dissolve. You begin to experience life as a wondrous play of consciousness, a divine game in which you are both the player and the creator. This is the state of true self-reliance, of knowing without a shadow of doubt that all power resides within you. Remember, my dear friends, you're God. Not a part of God, not a creation of God, but God himself individualized. The power you seek is not out there in the world, it's within you. It's you. As you learn to depend on this power, as you learn to trust in your own wonderful human imagination, you will discover a freedom and a joy beyond anything you've ever known. You will step into your true role as a conscious creator, shaping your world with the power of your thoughts and feelings. This is your destiny, your birthright. Claim it now. Live from it now. For now is the only time there is, and you are the only power there is. Thank you, and may you go forth and create wonderfully. Ladies and gentlemen, today to speak on a topic that resonates deeply within the core of our being. Never stop fighting. But let us understand what this fight truly means in the context of our discussion. This is not a call to physical combat or endless strife, but rather an invitation to persistently engage with the infinite power of your imagination. In the realm of consciousness, where all things truly exist, the fight we speak of is the unwavering commitment to your desires, the steadfast belief in your ability to shape your reality. It is the constant assertion of your true self against the illusory limitations of the world of Caesar. You see, my dear friends, the world you perceive is nothing more than a shadow, a reflection of your own consciousness. Every circumstance, every event, every person in your life is there because you have invited them through your thoughts and beliefs. The fight, therefore, is not against external forces, but against the limiting beliefs and negative patterns within your own mind. Consider for a moment the story of Jacob in the Bible. He wrestled with an angel through the night, refusing to let go until he received the blessing. This is a perfect allegory for our discussion today. Jacob's struggle represents our own internal battle with our doubts and fears. The angel symbolizes our higher self, our divine nature. And the blessing, it is the realization of our desires, the manifestation of our imagined reality. So when I say never stop fighting, I am urging you to persist in your imaginal acts. Keep wrestling with your own consciousness until it yields the blessing you seek. For it is written, the kingdom of heaven suffers violence, and the violent take it by force. This violence is not physical, but a forceful, persistent use of your imagination to override the appearances of the external world. Remember, my friends, that your imagination is the very essence of creation. It is God in action within you. When you imagine, you are literally shaping the substance of the universe. But this shaping requires persistence. It demands that you never stop fighting against the temptation to accept the limitations of your current reality. Let us delve deeper into this concept. Every moment of your life, you are in a state of consciousness. This state is the sum total of your beliefs, assumptions, and habitual thoughts. It is from this state that your entire world is projected. Therefore, the fight we speak of is the constant effort to maintain a state of consciousness aligned with your desires, regardless of what your senses may tell you. Imagine, if you will, that you desire financial abundance. The world of Caesar might show you a bank account with limited funds, bills piling up, debts accumulating. But in your imagination, in the realm of consciousness where all things truly exist, you're already wealthy. The fight is to maintain this inner conviction of wealth, to feel the relief and joy of financial freedom, even as your physical senses scream otherwise. This, my dear friends, is what it means to never stop fighting. It is the refusal to be moved by the facts of life, the determination to see only your desired end, the persistence in assuming the feeling of your wish fulfilled. It is the knowledge that what you see in the world is only a delayed reflection of past states of consciousness, and that by changing your consciousness now, you are setting in motion a new reality. But let me be clear. This fight is not one of strain or stress. It is not a battle waged with gritted teeth and clenched fists. No, this fight is one of relaxed attention, of calm certainty, of unwavering faith. It is the gentle but firm redirection of your thoughts whenever they stray from your desires. Think of it as tuning a radio. You don't struggle and strain to find the right station. You simply turn the dial calmly and persistently until you hear the broadcast you desire. The same way, you tune your consciousness to the frequency of your desires, gently but persistently adjusting your thoughts and feelings until they align with your wish fulfilled. Now, some of you might be thinking, but Neville, I've been imagining my desire for so long, and still it hasn't manifested. Should I give up? To you, I say emphatically, for the very fact that you can conceive of your desire means that you have the capacity to achieve it. Your desire is God's promise to you of its fulfillment. The seed has been planted in the fertile soil of your consciousness. Your job now is to water it with your faith and nurture it with your persistent imagination. Remember the words of Scripture. Though it tarry, wait for it, because it will surely come, it will not tarry. Your desire may seem delayed, but it is not denied. The lag between your imaginal act and its physical manifestation is often the true test of your faith. It is in this period that you must fight the hardest, holding fast to your vision even when all visible evidence contradicts it. Let me share with you a principle that has guided many to the successful realization of their desires. It is the principle of the Sabbath. In the biblical tradition, God created for 6 days and rested on the seventh, knowing that his work was done. This is a blueprint for your own creative process. When you have clearly defined your desire and have felt the reality of its fulfillment in your imagination, you must then enter the Sabbath. This means resting in the absolute conviction that your work is done. You continue to live from the state of your wish fulfilled, but you release all anxiety, all doubt, all wondering about when or how your desire will manifest. This Sabbath state is the ultimate expression of never stop fighting. It is a fight against the temptation to doubt, to question, to look for results in the world of Caesar. It is a commitment to live in the end, to inhabit the state of your wish fulfilled, regardless of any opposing appearances in your three-dimensional reality. Now let us address a common misconception. Some might think that this teaching encourages passivity, a sort of magical thinking that neglects practical action. Nothing could be further from the truth. When you truly occupy the state of your wish fulfilled, you will be moved to take inspired action. The right people, circumstances, and opportunities will be drawn to you like iron filings to a magnet. But remember, the action does not create your desire. The action is simply the bridge of incidents that your new state of consciousness naturally produces. Your job is not to make things happen, but to assume the state that implies the fulfillment of your desire. The fight, therefore, is to maintain this state, regardless of what your senses report. Consider the story of the Israelites in the walls of Jericho. They were instructed to march around the city for 7 days with 7 priests bearing 7 trumpets. On the 7th day, they were to march 7 times, and at the sound of the trumpet, all the people were to shout. This elaborate ritual did not physically bring down the walls. It was a symbolic representation of their faith. Their unshakable belief that the city was already theirs. In the same way, any action you take in the world should be a symbol of your faith, an outward expression of your inner conviction. The real work, the true fight, happens in your consciousness. As you persist in the assumption that you are the person you want to be, that you have what you desire, your outer world must reshape itself to match your inner conviction. Let me give you a practical example of how this principle works. Suppose you desire a promotion at work. The common approach would be to work harder, to strategize. But from the perspective of the law of consciousness, these actions, while not harmful, are not the true cause of your promotion. Instead, you would assume the state of consciousness of someone who already has the promotion. You would feel the satisfaction of the increased responsibility, the pride in your new position, the gratitude for your higher salary. You would walk talk and carry yourself as if the promotion were already yours. This is the fight, to maintain this state even when your current job title and paycheck say otherwise. As you persist in this state, you may find yourself inspired to take certain actions. Perhaps you'll have a new idea that impresses your superiors. Maybe you'll find yourself in the right place at the right time to showcase your skills. But remember, these actions are not the cause of your promotion. They are the effects of your new state of consciousness. This principle applies to every area of your life. Whether you desire improved health, a loving relationship, a successful career, or spiritual enlightenment, the process is the same. You must fight to maintain the state of consciousness that implies the fulfillment of your desire, regardless of any contradictory evidence in your physical world. Now, some of you might be wondering, but Neville, what if I falter? What if I find myself slipping back into old patterns of thought and feeling? My friends, this is precisely why we say never stop fighting. The fight is not a one-time event, but a continual process of redirecting your thoughts and feelings. When you catch yourself entertaining doubts or fears, gently but firmly bring your attention back to the feeling of your wish fulfilled. This is the practice, the discipline, the sacred fight. It is the constant choosing of your desired state over the facts presented by your senses. Remember, my dear friends, that you are not a helpless victim of circumstances. You are the operant power in your universe. Your consciousness is the one and only cause of the phenomenon of your life. Therefore, the fight we speak of is the most important battle you will ever wage. It is the battle for control of your own mind, for the deliberate shaping of your own reality. Let us now explore another aspect of this fight, the battle against the opinions and influences of others. The world is full of well-meaning people who will tell you what is and isn't possible, what you can and cannot achieve. But remember, their words only have power if you give them power. Your limitations are not your limitations. In the Bible, we find the story of David and Goliath. Everyone told David that he couldn't possibly defeat the giant. But David didn't accept their reality. In his mind, in his consciousness, he had already won the battle. This is the attitude we must adopt. No matter what others say, no matter how impossible your desire seems in the eyes of the world, you must hold fast to your vision. This fight against external influences also extends to your own past experiences. Just because something has always been a certain way doesn't mean it must continue to be that way. Your past does not determine your future unless you allow it to do so in your consciousness. Each moment is a new opportunity to choose a different state, to assume a new identity, to live from the end you desire. Let's address a question that often arises. What about the desires of others? What if my desire conflicts with someone else's? My friends, remember that there is no competition in the realm of consciousness. Your assumption that your desire is fulfilled does not take anything away from anyone else. In fact, as you elevate your own consciousness, you uplift the entire world. Moreover, you are not responsible for the desires or assumptions of others. Your job is to tend to your own garden, to cultivate your own state of consciousness. As you do this, you will find that the world rearranges itself harmoniously to accommodate your new state. Trust in the perfect workings of the law, and never stop fighting to maintain your desired state, regardless of what others may think or do. Let us now consider the role of detachment in this fight. It may seem paradoxical, but true persistence in your desired state requires a form of detachment. You must be committed to your desire, yet detached from the process of its manifestation. This detachment is not indifference, but rather a deep trust in the perfect workings of the law. Think of a farmer who plants a seed. He doesn't dig it up every day to see if it's growing. He trusts in the natural process, providing water and care, but allowing the seed to germinate in its own time. In the same way, you plant the seed of your desire in your consciousness. You water it with your faith and attention, but you trust in the unseen forces to bring it to fruition. This detachment is a crucial part of the fight. It is the fight against impatience, against the need for instant gratification. It is the calm certainty that your desire is yours the moment you assume it to be so, even if it has not yet appeared in your three-dimensional reality. Now let us delve into the concept of revision, a powerful tool in our never-ending fight. Revision is the art of rewriting the script of your past in your imagination. You see, my dear friends, even the past is not set in stone. It only seems fixed because you continue to view it and react to it in the same way. But what if you could go back in your imagination and change a past event? What if you could rewrite a painful memory into a joyful one? This is not mere fantasy or escapism. When you revise the past in your imagination, you are literally changing the trajectory of your life. You are altering the chain of cause and effect that leads to your present circumstances. This is a powerful form of the fight we're discussing. It is the refusal to be bound by past events, the determination to rewrite your history in a way that supports your desires. As you practice revision, you'll find that your present circumstances begin to change, reflecting your new version of the past. Remember, time is a construct of human consciousness. In the realm of imagination, all times, past, present, and future, exist simultaneously. Therefore, by changing your conception of the past, you inevitably alter your present and future. Let us now turn our attention to the power of words in this never-ending fight. The words you speak are a direct reflection of your state of consciousness. Therefore, you must fight against the temptation to speak negatively about yourself or your circumstances. Every word you utter should be in alignment with your desired state. This doesn't mean you should deny the facts of your current reality. Rather, it means you should speak from the perspective of your wish fulfilled. Instead of saying, I'm trying to get a promotion, say, I'm grateful for my new position. Instead of saying, I hope to be healthy one day, say, I am vibrantly healthy. This conscious use of language is a powerful tool in your fight. It reinforces your desired state in your own mind and sends a clear message to your subconscious. Remember, your subconscious mind takes everything you say literally. It doesn't distinguish between what you want and what you don't want. It simply responds to the words and images you feed it. Therefore, the fight extends to every conversation, every internal dialogue. You must vigilantly guard your speech, ensuring that it always reflects the state you wish to embody. This is not about lying or denying reality. It's about choosing to focus on and give voice to the reality you wish to create. Now let us address the role of feeling in this never-ending fight. Feeling is the secret, my dear friends. It is not enough to merely visualize or affirm your desire. You must feel it as real. You must generate and maintain the feeling of your wish fulfilled. This is perhaps the most challenging aspect of the fight. It requires you to feel joy when circumstances seem dire, to feel abundance when your bank account shows lack, to feel love when you seem surrounded by indifference or hostility. But it is this feeling that gives life to your imaginal acts. Remember, Your subconscious does not distinguish between what you in vividly and what you experience in the physical world. Therefore, as you generate and maintain the feeling of your wish fulfilled, your subconscious accepts it as fact and begins to work tirelessly to bring it into physical manifestation. This fight to maintain the feeling of your wish fulfilled is ongoing. It requires constant vigilance, constant redirection of your emotional state. But as you persist, you will find it becomes easier. The feeling becomes more natural, more habitual. And as it does, your outer world begins to reshape itself to match your inner state. Let us now explore the concept of living in the end. This is the ultimate expression of never stopping the fight. Living in the end means assuming the state of consciousness that would be yours if your desire were already fulfilled. It means thinking, feeling, and acting from the perspective of already being the person you wish to be, already having what you desire. This is not pretense or make-believe. It is a deliberate shifting of your consciousness into the state of your wish fulfilled. As you do this, you may find that your outer world seems to contradict your inner knowing. This is where the fight becomes most crucial. You must hold fast to your assumed state, regardless of appearances. Remember the biblical injunction. Judge not according to appearances. This is a call to disregard the evidence of your senses when it contradicts your assumed state. It is a reminder that what you see in the world is only a reflection of past states of consciousness. By maintaining your new state, you're creating a new future that must inevitably manifest. Now, some of you might be thinking, but Neville, this seems like self-deception. Isn't it better to face reality? My dear friends, what you call reality is simply the outpicturing of your accepted beliefs and assumptions by deliberately assuming a new state. You are not deceiving yourself. You are exercising your God-given power to choose the beliefs and assumptions from which you live. This brings us to an important point. The fight we're discussing is not against the world or other people. It is a fight against your own doubts, your own limiting beliefs, your own tendency to accept the limitations suggested by your senses. It is a fight to consistently choose the reality you desire over the reality you see. Remember, the outer world is dead. It has no power to create or to prevent. It is purely an effect, a shadow cast by your consciousness. Therefore, never fight against outer conditions. Instead, fight to maintain the state of consciousness from which your desired conditions naturally flow. Let us now consider the role of gratitude in this never-ending fight. Gratitude is a powerful state that aligns you with the fulfillment of your desires. When you are grateful, you are in a state of acceptance and receptivity. You are acknowledging that you have already received what you desire. Therefore, make gratitude a key weapon in your fight. Be grateful not just for what you already have, but for what you desire as if it were already yours. Feel the gratitude of already being the person you wish to be, of already having what you want. This attitude of gratitude is a powerful force that accelerates the manifestation of your desires. It keeps you focused on the abundance and blessings in your life rather than on lack or limitation. The fight, then, includes the constant cultivation of gratitude, even when circumstances seem to warrant complaint or despair. In conclusion, my dear friends, never stop fighting means never stop assuming the state of your wish fulfilled. It means persistently choosing to live from the end, regardless of what your senses or the world tells you. This fight is not one of strain or struggle, but of relaxed persistence. It is the calm, unwavering assumption of your desired state, the consistent choice to see yourself in your world as you wish them to be rather than as they appear to be. Remember, you're not a helpless victim of circumstances, but the author of your own story. You have within you the power to shape your reality through the focus of your consciousness. So go forth from here with renewed determination. Never stop fighting to maintain the state of consciousness that implies the fulfillment of your desires. Trust in the law, persist in your assumption, and watch as your world transforms to match your inner vision. For it is written, all things are possible to him who believes. Believe, persist, and never ever stop fighting for the realization of your dreams. Your desired reality awaits you here and now, in the realm of consciousness where all things truly exist. Claim it life from it, and it must become your physical reality. That, my friends, is the promise and the power of your own wonderful human imagination. My dear friends, we are here to delve into the essence of what it means to focus on improving yourself. This is not merely a platitude or a simple self-help mantra. It is the very key to unlocking the infinite potential that resides within you. As we embark on this journey together, I want you to understand that the world you see around you, the circumstances of your life, and the very fabric of your reality are all projections of your own consciousness. You are not separate from the world. You are the operant power, the divine creative force that shapes it. And it is through the focused improvement of yourself that you can reshape your entire world. Let us begin by understanding what it truly means to focus on improving yourself. It is not about comparing yourself to others or striving to meet external standards. No, it is about recognizing the God within you, the I am, and aligning yourself with that divine power. It is about cultivating your imagination, for your imagination is the very workshop where you fashion the world to come. When you focus on improving yourself, you are not changing who you are at your core, for that divine essence is perfect and unchanging. Rather, you are peeling away the layers of limiting beliefs, false assumptions, and negative self-concepts that have obscured your true nature. You are, in essence, remembering who you truly are. Imagine, if you will, a sculptor working with a block of marble. The statue already exists within that block. The sculptor's task is simply to chip away the excess, revealing the masterpiece that was always there. This is the process of self-improvement. You are not creating something new. You are unveiling the divine perfection that has always been your true identity. Now, you might ask, but Neville, how do I begin this process? How do I focus on improving myself? The answer, my dear friends, lies in the power of your imagination. Your imagination is not some idle fancy. It is the very creative power of God working through you. When you imagine yourself as you wish to be, you are planting a seed in the fertile soil of your subconscious mind. Consider this. Every night before you sleep, and every morning as you wake, take a few moments to imagine yourself as the person you wish to be. See yourself embodying the qualities you admire. Feel the satisfaction of having achieved your goals. Experience the joy of living your ideal life. As you do this, you are impressing upon your subconscious mind a new concept of self. And your subconscious will work tirelessly to bring this new self-concept into manifestation. But remember, this is not mere daydreaming or wishful thinking. This is a deliberate, focused use of your imagination. You must feel the reality of your imagined state. You must believe in the truth of what you're imagining, for it is your belief that gives life to your imaginings. That turns the seed of your desire into the full-grown tree of manifestation. As you embark on this journey of self-improvement, you may encounter doubts. You may hear the voice of your rational mind questioning the process, telling you that change is impossible or that you are not worthy of your desires. But I say to you, pay no heed to these doubts. They are merely the echoes of old beliefs, the remnants of a limited self-concept that you are in the process of shedding. Instead, turn your attention again and again to the feeling of you being your ideal self. For where attention goes, energy flows. And as you consistently direct your attention towards your improved self, you will find that your outer world begins to reflect this inner change. People will respond to you differently. Opportunities will present themselves. Circumstances will align to support your new self-concept. Now let us delve deeper into the mechanics of this process. When you focus on improving yourself, you are engaging in a sacred act of creation. You are exercising your divine right as a child of God to shape your reality. This is not something external to you. It is the very essence of who you are. Consider the words of Scripture. I am that I am. This is not merely a statement of existence. It is a declaration of creative power. Whatever follows I am in your thoughts and feelings becomes your reality. So when you say to yourself, I'm improving, I am growing, I am becoming my ideal self, you are setting in motion the creative forces of the universe to make it so. But be warned, my friends, This power works both ways. If you consistently tell yourself, I'm not good enough, I am a failure, I can't improve, then these two will become your reality. This is why it is crucial to guard the door of your mind, to be vigilant about the thoughts and feelings you entertain. As you focus on improving yourself, you may find that certain habits or patterns in your life no longer serve you. Perhaps you have been holding on to resentments, fears, or limiting beliefs. Now is the time to let these go, but do not fight against them, for what you resist persists. Instead, simply turn your attention away from these old patterns and focus on their opposites. If you have been harboring resentment, focus on forgiveness. If you have been plagued by fear, cultivate courage. If you have been limited by self-doubt, nurture self-confidence. Remember, you are not adding these qualities to yourself. They have always been there, hidden beneath the surface of your limited self-concept. As you continue this process of self-improvement, you may find that your relationships begin to change. Some people may fall away from your life while new connections form. Do not be alarmed by this. It is a natural consequence of your inner transformation. As you change your concept of self, you naturally attract people and circumstances that align with this new self-concept. This is not about rejecting or judging others. It's simply about aligning yourself with your highest good. As you focus on improving yourself, you become a beacon of light, inspiring others to do the same. In this way, your personal growth becomes a gift not just to yourself. Now let us address a common misconception. Some may think that focusing on improving oneself is a selfish act, that it takes away from our ability to serve others. But nothing could be further from the truth. When you improve yourself, when you align with your highest self, you become more capable of serving others. You have more to give, more love to share, more wisdom to impart. Think of it this way. Can an empty cup quench another's thirst? Of course not. You must first fill your own cup before you can nourish others. This is why self-improvement is not selfish. It is, in fact, the highest form of service. By becoming the best version of yourself, you inspire and uplift everyone around you. As you continue on this journey of self-improvement, you may encounter challenges. There may be times when progress seems slow, or when old habits reassert themselves. Do not be discouraged by this. Remember, you are engaged in a process of transformation. And all transformation involves a period of gestation. Just as a seed must first break apart in the darkness of the soil before it can grow into a mighty tree, so too must you sometimes experience periods of apparent setback or difficulty. But know this, these challenges are not obstacles to your growth. They are opportunities for it. They are the very means by which you strengthen your resolve, deepen your understanding, and refine your technique. When you encounter such challenges, return again to your imagination. See yourself as having already overcome these difficulties. Feel the satisfaction of having grown through the experience. For remember, your imagination is not bound by the limitations of your current circumstances. It can transcend any obstacle, overcome any difficulty. As you focus on improving yourself, you may find that your perception of time begins to change. You may experience moments of timelessness where past, present, and future seem to converge. This is because in the realm of imagination, time is fluid. The future you desire already exists. And through the power of your focused imagination, you can bring it into your present experience. This is the true meaning of living in the end. It is not about passively waiting for some future event. It is about embodying here and now, the state of consciousness of your improved self. As you do this consistently, you will find that your outer world naturally rearranges itself to match this inner state. Now, let us talk about the role of action in this process of self-improvement. Some may think that if imagination is so powerful, there is no need for action in the physical world. But this is a misunderstanding. Action is crucial, but it must be inspired action. Action that flows naturally from your new self-concept. When you have truly impressed upon your subconscious mind the reality of your improved self, You will find yourself naturally taking actions that align with this new self-concept. You won't have to force yourself to do things. You will be compelled from within to take the necessary steps. This is the difference between mere behavior modification and true transformation. As you continue to focus on improving yourself, you may notice changes in your physical body. Perhaps you find yourself standing taller, moving with more grace, or radiating confidence. This is because your body is a perfect reflection of your mental state. As you improve your self-concept, your body naturally aligns with this new image. This is why practices like exercise, proper nutrition, and adequate rest are so important. They're not separate from the process of self-improvement. They are integral to it. By taking care of your physical vehicle, you create the optimal conditions for your mental and spiritual growth. But remember, the physical changes are a reflection of the inner changes, not the cause of them. Do not fall into the trap of thinking that if you just change your outward appearance, your inner state will automatically improve. True and lasting change always occurs from the inside out. As you deepen your practice of self-improvement, you may find that your desires begin to change. Things that once seemed important may lose their appeal while new aspirations emerge. This is a natural part of the process. As you align more closely with your true self, your desires naturally refine themselves to reflect your highest good. Do not be alarmed by this shift in desires. It is a sign of your growth, an indication that you are moving towards a more authentic expression of who you truly are. Embrace these new desires, for they are guiding you towards your highest potential. Now let us address the concept of persistence. Focusing on improving yourself is not a one-time event. It is a lifelong journey. There will be times when you feel inspired and motivated, and times when you feel discouraged or doubtful. The key is to persist regardless of your momentary feelings. Remember, your feelings are a reflection of your thoughts. If you find yourself feeling discouraged, it is because you are entertaining thoughts of discouragement. The remedy is simple. Return again and again to the feeling of being your improved self. Persist in this, and you will find that your feelings naturally align with your chosen thoughts. As you persist in focusing on your self-improvement, you may find that your perception of the world begins to change. Things that once seemed random or chaotic may start to reveal an underlying order. You may begin to see the interconnectedness of all things, the divine orchestration behind seemingly chance events. This is because, as you improve yourself, you are raising your consciousness to higher levels of awareness. You are beginning to see the world as it truly is, not as it appears to be through the lens of limited perception. This expanded awareness is one of the greatest gifts of the self-improvement journey. Now let us talk about the role of gratitude in this process. As you focus on improving yourself, it is crucial to cultivate an attitude of gratitude. Be thankful not just for what you have, but for what you are becoming. Be grateful for the challenges that help you grow, for the insights that expand your awareness, for the very process of transformation itself. Gratitude is not merely a pleasant emotion. It is a powerful creative force. When you are truly grateful, you are aligning yourself with the abundance of the universe. You are declaring to your subconscious mind that you are worthy of good things, that you expect good things, and that you receive good things. As you continue on this journey of self-improvement, you may find that your sense of identity begins to shift. You may start to see yourself less as a separate individual and more as an expression of the divine whole. This is not a loss of individuality, but an expansion of it. You are becoming more fully yourself by recognizing your connection to all that. This shift in identity is the true goal of self-improvement. It is not about becoming a better version of your limited self. It is about awakening to your true, unlimited nature. It is about remembering who you really are, a divine being, temporarily expressing itself in human form. As this awakening occurs, you may find that your approach to life's challenges changes. Instead of seeing problems as obstacles to be overcome, you begin to see them as opportunities for growth and expansion. You realize that every experience, whether perceived as positive or negative, is a chance to know yourself more fully, to express your divine nature more completely. This shift in perspective is liberating. It frees you from the need to control external circumstances and allows you to focus on the only thing you truly can control, your own state of consciousness. As you master your inner world, you'll find that the outer world naturally falls into harmony with your desires. Now let us address the concept of revision. As you focus on improving yourself, you may become aware of past events or decisions that you regret. The temptation may be to dwell on these, to berate yourself for past mistakes. But I say to you, there's a more powerful way. Revision. Revision is the art of reimagining past events in a way that serves your highest good. It is not about denying what happened, but about reinterpreting it in a way that empowers you. When you revise a past event, you are literally rewriting your subconscious programming, changing the impact that event has on your present and future. For example, if you have a memory of failure or rejection, instead of reliving the pain of that experience, imagine how it would feel if you had succeeded or been accepted. Feel the joy, the satisfaction, the confidence that would come with that positive outcome. As you do this, you are impressing upon your subconscious mind a new version of events, one that supports your growth and success. This practice of revision is not about living in denial or escaping reality. It is about exercising your God-given power to choose the meaning you give to your experience. It is about taking control of your narrative, becoming the author of your own life story. As you become more adept at revision, you'll find that your entire relationship with the past changes. Instead of being a source of regret or limitation, your past becomes a rich resource for growth and self-discovery. Every experience, whether originally perceived as positive or negative, becomes a stepping stone on your path of self-improvement. Now let us explore the concept of states of consciousness. As you focus on improving yourself, you are essentially moving from one state of consciousness to another. Each state has its own thoughts, feelings, and perceptions associated with it. The key to lasting change is to fully occupy the state of your improved self. This means not just thinking about being your improved self, but fully embodying that state. How would your improved self think? How would they feel? How would they perceive the world? As you consistently occupy this new state, you'll find that your outer world naturally reconfigures itself to match your inner state. Remember, the outside world is a reflection of your inner state. As within, so without. By focusing on improving your inner state, you are setting in motion forces that will inevitably improve your outer circumstances. This is the true power of focusing on self-improvement. As you progress on this journey, you may find that your concept of time begins to shift. You may experience moments of what I call the eternal now, where past, present, and future seem to converge into a single point of awareness. This is because, from the perspective of your higher self, all time is simultaneous. The future you desire already exists, and through the power of your imagination, you can bring it into your present experience. This understanding of time can be profoundly liberating. It frees you from the tyranny of past regrets and future anxieties, allowing you to fully inhabit the present moment. And it is in this present moment that all your power resides. It is here, in the eternal now, that you can most effectively focus on improving yourself. As we near the conclusion of our discussion, I want to emphasize the importance of faith in this process of self-improvement. Faith in this context is not blind belief in something outside yourself. It is an unshakable knowing of the power within you. It is the confidence that as you focus on improving yourself, the entire universe conspires to support your growth. This faith is not something you need to acquire. It is something you need to remember. For you are, in your essence, a divine being. You are an expression of the infinite creative power of the universe. As you focus on improving yourself, you are simply aligning more fully with this truth. In closing, my dear friends, I urge you to take this message to heart. Focus on improving yourself not as a burden or a chore, but as a joyous exploration of your own infinite potential. Know that as you improve yourself, you are improving the entire world, for you are not separate from the world. You are the world, expressing itself in your unique and beautiful way. Remember, the kingdom of heaven is within you. As you focus on improving yourself, you are literally bringing heaven to earth. You are fulfilling your divine purpose, expressing more fully the God within you. This is the greatest gift you can give to yourself and to the world. So go forth with confidence, with faith, with persistence. Focus on improving yourself, knowing that as you do so, you are participating in the greatest miracle of all, the miracle of your own divine unfoldment. The word awaits your light. Shine brightly, my friends. My dear friends, esteemed listeners and seekers of truth, I stand before you today to impart a message of profound importance, a message that has the power to transform your life and reshape your reality. We are here to explore and embrace a mindset of not caring about what others think. This is not a call to indifference or disregard for our fellow beings, but rather an invitation to tap into the infinite power that resides within you, the power of your imagination and your true self. Consider for a moment the energy you expend daily, concerning yourself with the opinions of others. This energy, this precious life force, is being directed outward, scattered to the winds of external validation and approval. But I say to you, with absolute certainty, that this power belongs to you and you alone. It is your divine right to harness it, to direct it inward, and to use it to shape your world according to your deepest desires and truest self. You see, when we allow ourselves to be swayed by the thoughts and opinions of others, we are living in a state of division. We are separating ourselves from our true nature, from the God within us. For it is written, I and my Father are one. This oneness, this unity with the divine is our natural state. It is who we truly are. And in this state of oneness, there is no room for the petty concerns and judgments of others. Now I want you to close your eyes for a moment. Take a deep breath and feel the life force flowing through you. This energy, this essence, is the very substance of creation. It is the power that moves worlds, that shapes realities, and it resides within you, waiting to be awakened, waiting to be directed by your conscious mind. As you breathe, I want you to imagine a scene. Picture yourself standing tall, confident, and radiant. You are surrounded by a golden light that emanates from within you. This light is your true essence, your divine nature. Now imagine that all around you are the thoughts and opinions of others. They swirl about like leaves in the wind, but they cannot touch you. They cannot penetrate the radiant light of your being. Feel the power of this image. Feel the peace and confidence that comes from knowing that you are complete, whole, and perfect just as you are. This is your natural state. This is who you truly are. Now open your eyes and carry this feeling with you. For this is not just an exercise in visualization. This is a glimpse of your true nature, of the reality that awaits you when you fully embrace the mindset of not caring what others think. You see, my dear friends, the world we experience is nothing more than a reflection of our inner state. As within, so without. The Bible tells us, as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. This is not mere poetry or metaphor. This is the fundamental law of creation. Your thoughts, your beliefs, your inner state, these are the building blocks of your reality. When you allow yourself to be consumed by the opinions of others, you are giving away your power. You are allowing external forces to shape your inner world, and thus your outer reality. But when you embrace the mindset of not caring what others think, you reclaim this power. You take back control of your inner world. And in doing so, you gain the ability to shape your outer reality according to your will. Now, let me be clear. This is not about becoming selfish or disregarding the feelings of others. Far from it. When you truly embrace this mindset, you become more compassionate, more loving, more authentic in your interactions with others. Because you are no longer acting from a place of fear or need for approval. You are acting from a place of wholeness, of completeness. Think about it. When you are constantly seeking the approval of others, are you not coming from a place of lack? Are you not implying through your very actions that you are incomplete without their validation? But when you embrace the truth of who you are, When you recognize your oneness with the divine, you approach life from a place of abundance. You have an infinite wellspring of love and approval within you. You need nothing from the outside world to complete you. And from this place of completeness, of wholeness, you are able to give freely. You are able to love unconditionally. You are able to be truly present with others without the need to impress or to gain their approval. This is true freedom. This is true love. Now, I want you to consider for a moment the great figures throughout history who have changed the world. The visionaries, the innovators, the revolutionaries. Do you think they achieved their greatness by constantly worrying about what others thought of them? Of course not. They dared to think differently. They dared to challenge the status quo. They dared to be true to their inner vision, regardless of the opinions of others. You see, when you stop caring about what others think, you free yourself to hear the voice of your own intuition, your own inner guidance. This is the voice of God within you. It is always speaking, always guiding you towards your highest good. But so often, we drown out this voice with the cacophony of others' opinions and expectations. Imagine for a moment what your life would be like if you could hear this voice clearly, if you could trust it implicitly, if you could follow its guidance without hesitation or doubt. This is the life that awaits you when you embrace the mindset of not caring what others think. Now, I know what some of you may be thinking. But Neville, you say, how can I simply stop caring what others think? It's not that easy. And you're right. It's not easy if you approach it from the level of the physical, the level. But remember, we do not manifest our reality through action alone. We manifest through consciousness, through our state of being. The secret, my dear friends, is this: you must assume the state of the wish fulfilled. You must live from the end. In other words, you must become in consciousness the person who does not care what others think. You must feel it, believe it, know it to be true, even before there's any physical evidence of it. Close your eyes once more. Imagine yourself as that person. Feel what it feels like to be completely free from the opinions of others. Feel the confidence, the peace, the inner certainty that comes with this state. Breathe it in. Let it permeate every cell of your being. Now here's the crucial part. You must persist in this state. You must make it your new normal. As you go about your day, continually remind yourself of this feeling. Return to it again and again. For as you persist in this state, it will harden into fact. It will become your new reality. Remember, the outer world is nothing more than a reflection of your inner state. As you change your inner state, your outer world must change to match it. This is the law. This is how reality works. Now I want to address a common misconception. Some people believe that not caring what others think means becoming cold or indifferent. Nothing could be further from the truth. When you truly embrace this mindset, you become more loving, more compassionate, more authentic in your interactions with others. You see, when you're constantly worried about what others think, you're not really present with them. You're caught up in your own mind, in your own insecurities and fears. But when you let go of this need for approval, you're free to be fully present. You're free to really see and hear the other person, to connect with them on a deeper level. Moreover, when you're no longer seeking validation from others, you're able to give more freely. You're able to love unconditionally because your sense of self-worth isn't dependent on their reaction or approval. You're coming from a place of fullness, of abundance, rather than lack. Think about the people in your life who truly inspire you, the ones who radiate confidence and authenticity. Aren't they the ones who seem least concerned with what others think of them? They're not trying to impress anyone. They're simply being themselves, fully and unapologetically. And paradoxically, it's this very quality that draws others to them. This, my friends, is the power of embracing the mindset of not caring what others think. It's not about becoming selfish or disconnected. It's about becoming more authentically yourself. And in doing so, you give others permission to do the same. Now let's talk about how this mindset can transform your relationships. When you're constantly seeking approval, you're not showing up as your true self in your relationships. You're showing up as who you think the other person wants you to be. This creates a barrier to true intimacy and connection. But when you embrace this mindset, you allow yourself to be vulnerable, to be real, to be seen for who you truly are. And yes, this can be scary at first. There's always the fear that if people see the real you, they might not like what they see. But here's the truth, that people who are meant to be in your life will love you not in spite of who you are, but because of who you are. Moreover, when you stop caring so much about what others think, you free yourself to set healthy boundaries in your relationships. You're able to say no when you need to without feeling guilty. You're able to express your needs and desires clearly without fear of rejection. This leads to more balanced, more fulfilling relationships. Now, let's consider how this mindset can impact your career and your pursuits in life. So often we hold ourselves back from pursuing our true passions because we're afraid of what others might think. We choose safe, conventional paths instead of following our hearts. But imagine for a moment what you could achieve if you were free from this fear. What dreams would you pursue? What risks would you take? What greatness might you achieve? You see, when you stop caring what others think, you open yourself up to infinite possibilities. You allow yourself to think outside the box, to challenge conventions, to innovate. This is how progress is made. This is how new ideas are born. This is how the world is changed. Consider the great innovators and visionaries throughout history. They didn't achieve greatness by following the crowd or worrying about what others thought. They dared to be different. They dared to pursue their vision, even when others called them crazy or impossible. Now, I want to address a common fear that comes up when we talk about not caring what others think. Some of you may be worried that this mindset will lead to selfishness or a lack of consideration for others. But let me assure you, this is not the case. When you truly embrace this mindset, you actually become more considerate, more authentic in your interactions with others. Because you're no longer acting from a place of fear or need for approval. You're acting from a place of inner security and self-assurance. Think about it. When you're constantly worried about what others think, aren't you actually being a bit selfish? Aren't you more focused on how you're being perceived than on truly connecting with the other person? But when you let go of this need for approval, you're free to really listen, to really see the other person. You're free to be genuinely present and engaged. Moreover, when you're secure in yourself and your own worth, you're able to celebrate others' successes without feeling threatened. You're able to offer genuine compliments and support because you're not constantly comparing yourself to others or seeking their validation. Now, let's talk about how this mindset can impact your overall sense of happiness and fulfillment. When you're constantly seeking approval from others, you're putting your happiness in their hands. You're allowing external factors to determine your self-worth and your level of satisfaction with life. But when you embrace the mindset of not caring what others think, you take back control of your own happiness. You start to define success on your own terms. You start to pursue goals and dreams that truly resonate with you, not just ones that look good to others. Imagine waking up each morning excited about the day ahead because you're living life on your own terms. Imagine going to bed each night satisfied because you've been true to yourself. This is the kind of deep, lasting fulfillment that comes from embracing this mindset. Now, I want to address something important. Embracing this mindset doesn't mean you become immune to hurt or disappointment. You're still human, after all. There will still be times when criticism stings or when rejection feels painful. The difference is in how you handle these experiences. Instead of being devastated by them or letting them define you, you're able to process them and move forward. You're able to see them as part of the journey rather than as a reflection of your worth. This resilience is one of the most valuable skills you can develop in life. It allows you to keep pursuing your dreams even when faced with obstacles. It enables you to bounce back from setbacks stronger than before. And here's a powerful truth. The more you embrace this mindset, the more resilient you become. Each time you choose to follow your own path despite others' opinions, you grow stronger. Each time you express yourself authentically without fear of judgment, you become more confident in who you are. Now let's talk about how to cultivate this mindset in your daily life. Remember, it's not about trying to force yourself not to care. It's about shifting your focus inward, about reconnecting with your true self, your divine nature. Start each day with a moment of quiet reflection. Close your eyes, take a deep breath, and remind yourself of who you truly are. Feel your connection to the divine source within you. Remind yourself that you're complete, whole, and perfect just as you are. Throughout the day, whenever you find yourself worrying about what others think of us, take a breath. Return to that feeling of inner certainty and completeness. Remember, you are not your thoughts. You are the awareness behind your thoughts. You have the power to choose which thoughts you entertain and which you let go. Practice expressing yourself authentically in small ways. Share an opinion, even if it's different from those around you. Wear something that truly reflects your style, even if it's not fashionable. Take a small risk in pursuing something you're passionate about. Remember, change doesn't happen overnight. Be patient and compassionate with yourself as you cultivate this new mindset. Celebrate small victories along the way. Each time you choose authenticity over approval seeking, you're growing. Each time you follow your own path, despite others' opinions, you're becoming stronger. Now, I want to share with you a powerful technique for embodying this mindset. It's called the I Am meditation. Find a quiet place where you won't be disturbed. Close your eyes and take a few deep breaths. Then, begin to repeat to yourself, I am free from the opinions of others. I am confident in who I am. I am complete and whole within myself. Feel the truth of these statements as you repeat them. Let them sink into your subconscious mind. Do this for a few minutes each day and watch how your reality begins to shift. Remember, my dear friends, your imagination is the gateway to the divine. It is through your imagination that you can experience and embody new states of being. So use your imagination to its fullest potential. See yourself as the person who's free from the opinions of others. Feel what it feels like to be that person. Live from that state. And watch as your outer world transforms to match your inner reality. Now let's talk about how this mindset can impact your creativity and self-expression. When you're constantly worried about what others think, you tend to play it safe. You stick to what's familiar and accepted. You hold back your most innovative ideas for fear of judgment or ridicule. But when you embrace a mindset of not caring what others think, you give yourself permission to explore, to experiment, to push boundaries. You allow yourself to be truly creative and innovative. Think about some of the greatest artists, inventors, and innovators throughout history. They weren't the ones who played it safe and followed the crowd. They were the ones who dared to think differently, who weren't afraid to challenge conventions and push boundaries. By embracing this mindset, you open yourself up to new possibilities. You allow yourself to dream bigger, to take bigger risks, to pursue ideas that others might consider crazy or impossible. And here's the thing. Even if not every idea is a winner, even if you face setbacks or failures along the way, you're still growing. You're still learning. You're still moving forward. And that's what really matters. Remember, my dear friends, you are not here to live up to the expectations of others. You are here to fulfill your own unique purpose, to express your own unique gifts. The world doesn't need another copy, another person trying to fit in. The world needs you. The real you in all your authentic, imperfect, glorious uniqueness. When you embrace the mindset of not caring what others think, you free yourself to be that person. You free yourself to make your unique contribution to the world. And in doing so, you inspire others to do the same. Imagine a world where everyone felt free to be their authentic selves. Imagine the creativity, the innovation, the love that would flourish in such a world. This is the world we can create, one person at a time, as we embrace this mindset. Now, I want to address a fear that often comes up when we talk about not caring what others think. Some of you may be worried that you'll lose connections or relationships if you start being more authentic. And it's true. As you change, some relationships may shift or even end. But here's the beautiful truth. As you become more authentic, you'll attract people who appreciate and love you for who you truly are. You'll form deeper, more meaningful connections based on mutual understanding and acceptance. And the relationships that do stand the test of time They'll become stronger than ever, because now you're showing up as your true self, allowing for a level of intimacy and understanding that wasn't possible before. Remember, my dear friends, you are not your roles. You are not your job title, your relationship status, your social standing. These are all temporary states, costumes you wear in the play of life. But beneath all of these, you are infinite consciousness, pure awareness, the very essence of creation itself. When you embrace this truth, when you live from this understanding, the opinions of others lose their power over you. As you continue on this journey of embracing a mindset of not caring what others think, remember that it's a process. There will be days when it feels effortless, when you're soaring high above the opinions and judgments of others. And there will be days when it's a struggle, when old habits and fears resurface. But know this, each time you choose authenticity over approval seeking, each time you stay true to yourself in the face of opposition or doubt, you're growing strong. You're reinforcing this new mindset, this new way of being. In closing, I want to remind you of your true nature. You are not small, limited, or lacking in any way. You are a divine being, infinite and eternal, temporarily experiencing life through a human form. The opinions and judgments of others have no power to define you or limit you unless you give them that power. So choose today to reclaim your power. Choose to live from the understanding of who you truly are. As you leave here today, I challenge you to start living this truth. Start making decisions based on what feels right to you, not what you think others expect. Start expressing yourself fully and authentically. Start pursuing your dreams without fear of judgment. It won't always be easy, but I promise you it will be worth it. Because when you stop caring what others think and start living true to yourself, that's when life really begins. That's when you start to create a life that's not just successful by society's standards, but deeply fulfilling and meaningful to you. And remember, my dear friends, you are never alone on this journey. The entire universe is conspiring in your favor. The divine power within you is always guiding you, always supporting you. Trust in this power. Believe in yourself. And watch as miracles unfold in your life. Thank you, and may you go forth and create the life of your dreams.